This is QTV News. I am Mamudu Gajaga and thanks for joining us. And first, our headlines. As the President's nationwide tour nears to a close, we learned of the welcome plan by some of his supporters when he returns to the capital. The WHO plans to host a series of media briefings on health. We attended the most recent one. Nifty ICT Solutions, an information communication technology company providing ICT solutions for business development, recently organized an event on technological innovation for modern business. We hear what went on. A survey to help design policies and strategies for increased financial inclusion was launched this week. It is hoped to address the low levels of financial inclusion for Gambian women and youth, especially those in rural areas. For more on these and other stories, stay tuned. This is QTV News, and thanks for joining us. President Barrow will return to Banjul on Saturday afternoon after a 12-day tour of rural Gambia. The President will spend the remaining days in Fonyi and the Greater Banjul area. As Aliu Sise reports, supporters are planning a massive welcome for the President.
Supporters of President Barrow said they are gearing up for what they call a historic welcoming after the President's successful tour in rural Gambia. Speaking to QTV, CDSK Njai, one of President Barrow's most fervent supporters, said preparations are underway for a massive welcome.
Preparations for the welcome is high on gear. We have our regional chairman for West Coast and our national chairman Undanyang Lamin Jata of West Coast and Undanyang of KMC, and the entire committee of KMC and West Coast and Banjul as well, preparing to welcome His Excellency President Adam Barrow after a historic and an unprecedented Meet the People tour.
Sidi Njai, former President Jammeh's information minister, went on to outline the program's scheduled plan for the welcoming ceremony.
People of Lower River region will hand over His Excellency President Adam Barrow at Brumang Bridge, that's at Kalaji, to the people of West Coast, the powerhouse, and in which procession will start from Kalaji Bridge towards Abuko, where the West Coast would hand over His Excellency the President to the people of Kanifi Municipal Council, where we are expecting over 150,000 supporters within the West Coast region under the leadership of Lamin Jata, and also another 100,000 supporters under the leadership of Undanyang, and every other supporter of His Excellency President Adam Barrow, the President Barrow's Fans Club, President Barrow Youth for National Development, and all supporters of President Adam Barrow within KMC and West Coast. What we want is, of course, we had from the entire committee, the organizing committee, the Honorable Dusano, the Lamin Cham, and everybody, that what we want is from Abuko procession, people to walk in their thousands with His Excellency the President to Denton Bridge and to Banjul, and that we want it to take nothing less than 10 hours.
As part of his engagements in the Lower River region, the President on Thursday held meetings in Jalangbere, Medina Sencha, and Soma. At the meetings, the people of Kabada region appealed for a health facility and improved health service delivery at the Soma Hospital. Also among their demands were improved water supply, roads and electricity.
Minen kabadare biron chogli walle go hospital leji mbarkindi min balle min keba gorde mbarkinde min balle hakura mo nahrande ledi.
As in previous meetings, President Barrow made similar assurances to transform the lives of the people with meaningful projects.
Lemen dogu sanjil tallul
dafa melni ñaari nguur yi fi nekkon juroom fukki at ak ñaari liggéey
be wala dogu kan ñi sanjilulo ko
man lool lay liggéey ci biir juroomi at yi.
He said his government has several projects in the pipeline that are targeted at improving the lives of the less privileged and hard-to-reach communities. The President also visited the OMVG project site in Soma, where officials told him the country will start generating electricity by December 2020.
So you think by December we can generate electricity from here?
Yes, yes.
By December?
By December. That's what
2020.
Once completed, it is expected to address the electricity supply challenges. The President also made a surprise visit to the Trans-Gambia Bridge, which was inaugurated earlier this year, where new lights have been installed to ensure a 24-hour operation. Reporting for QTV News from Swama in the Lower River region, I am Aliu Sise.
The World Health Organization recently held a media briefing on universal health coverage. The briefing is part of an initiative of monthly engagements on a range of health issues. Bintu Kokara reports.
Universal health coverage is about ensuring all people get the quality health service they need without experiencing financial hardship. The Gambia is among the UN member states which has agreed to achieve such coverage by 2030 as part of the Sustainable Development Goals. The WHO representative to the Gambia, Dr. Desta Tirune, has this to say on the likelihood countries fulfilling all the universal health coverage objectives.
We hope Gambia, because of that commitment, will also make a stride and will make its effort. But it's always, whatever will be agreed jointly by many may not be perfectly reached by everybody equally. But one country might be lagging behind a little bit. One may advance very fast to a higher level. So the average will be, at least that will be measured globally to measure how much we have managed to reduce also all that burden in the population.
Mr. Momodu Cisse, WHO health economist, has this to say about the chances of the Gambia achieving universal health coverage.
Like I mentioned in the presentation, achieving universal health coverage is a big challenge because it is about fixing the health system, and the health system concerns so many different components. You talk about the health workforce, you rightly talk about the state of the facilities. So it is a challenge, but it is something that is not out of our reach or out of our grasp.
Health is considered a fundamental human right, which should be easily accessible to all. Universal health coverage includes a full range of essential health services from health promotion to prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and palliative care. Bintu Koka, QTV News.
Nifty ICT Solutions, an information communication technology company providing ICT solutions for business development, public sector, and non-government organization support, in collaboration with Oracle, recently organized an event on technological innovation for modern business. Malik Nyang has more details.
Over 40 business agents and ICT officers from various organizations attended the program aimed at protecting organizations from cyber threats, amongst others, through the use of databases. Nifty ICT Solutions Managing Director Jalamang Jobate said the event showcases the relationship between Nifty as an Oracle partner and technological solutions in terms of securing information systems in general. He added that Oracle, being the #1 databases company, means they also manufacture their own servers. He also outlined the program's objectives.
The objective is to show our customers or the general public how strong Oracle databases are, how secure they are, how much value they can add to the operations of organizations in the Gambia that may want to use the technologies.
Emmanuel G. Ngala, a Solutions Engineering MEA and Oracle officer, gave a lecture on the latest Oracle database's new features for improved operation, and he demonstrated how to recover a database from an error as well as a demo on information security.
I'm running my database. I have data today. Today is, say, November 27th, and the time is maybe, I don't know, I'll just say 10 o'clock, for example. Now, I'm at 10 o'clock now. Maybe somebody made a mistake and deleted something or dropped something from the database or whatever, or it was some let's say some error, whatever caused that error, right? As at 10 o'clock, we have this error, but I know that at 8 o'clock this morning, the database was fine, and this error was not there at 8 o'clock. So it gives me the ability to go back to what my database was at 8 o'clock. The idea is point in time. So I'm just choosing 8 o'clock. It could be 1 minute past 8 o'clock. It could be 1 minute, 30 seconds past 8 o'clock, right? You can actually really go back to a particular point in time and recover your database just up to that point in time where you want. So if we say we know that there was some disaster or some error that happened at 10 o'clock, we can go back to, if we're not sure, but we know at least that at 8 o'clock this error was not there, then we can go back to what the database was at that point.
Jamilatu Jallo, a participant who works with the Ministry of Information, shared her views.
It's working with Oracle to set up a database management services in an institution is a great achievement to protect our data.
Nifty ICT Solutions deals in software application solutions, sale of computers and accessories, website design and development, computer, printer and network support. With state-of-the-art training labs, a Microsoft Emerging Partner accredited by the Gambia National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority. Nifty provides ICT training for both corporate and non-corporate entities and face-to-face training from basic to professional computing levels. Malik Nyang for QTV News.
The National FinScope Survey was launched by the United Nations Capital Development Fund in collaboration with the Gambian government. The survey will focus on promoting financial inclusion and regional financial integration to increase access to financial services for the poor. Aisha Jani reports.
The National FinScope 2019 survey was launched by the United Nations Capital Development Fund with support from the European Union, Central Bank of the Gambia, FinMac Trust and Gambia Bureau of Statistics. The diagnosis will help the Gambia in designing policies and strategies leading towards increased financial inclusion, with the ultimate goal of promoting poverty alleviation, inclusive economic growth and development. Program Manager at the European Union, Lunana Kamashi, says since 2010, more than 55 countries have made commitments to financial inclusion and more than 60 have either launched or are developing a national strategy. She gives the benefits of financial inclusion strategy.
Countries that have achieved the most progress toward financial inclusion have, amongst other initiatives, designed policies delivered at scale, allowed mobile financial service to thrive, took a strategy approach by developing a national financial inclusion strategy. But most importantly, these countries did a strong diagnostic of the current state of financial inclusion and established a baseline helping to build policies and interventions.
The program manager at Jobs, Skills and Finance, Rebecca Sims, explains UNDCF's work on financial inclusion for individuals, households and small businesses in the Gambia.
At the macro level, we're focusing on reforming legal frameworks. So in this sense, we're working with the Central Bank of the Gambia to support the development of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy. At the meso level, we are supporting or providing technical assistance to microfinance institutions, but we're also drawing our attention to data collection at this level. At the micro level, we're focusing on supporting different financial service providers to develop services and products.
The first Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, Dr. Siku Jabi, says the development of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy is aligned to the main objectives of the Gambia's National Development Plan 2018 to 2021. He says the strategy is timely, given the inadequate access to finance in the Gambia.
There is still a need to develop a comprehensive and inclusive strategy to accelerate the level of financial inclusion. This strategy requires evidence-based policies which are going to be provided thanks to FinScope survey. I have no doubt that it will help build regulatory and legal reforms, but also taking initiatives at broader stakeholders level to make formal finance service available, accessible and affordable.
Data analyst at FinMac Trust, Abel Motsomi, presenting the survey findings, says the survey looks at a total adult population of 1.32 million in the Gambia. The findings were that almost 31% of the population have access to financial services. However, there is low usage of formal financial services among Gambian adults, with 2% using formal credit, 3% for formal saving and 0.5% for insurance. 99% of adults indicated a need for financial education, and currently only 2% of 15-year-olds and over are registered mobile money users, while 3% are using microfinance institutions. For QTV News, I am Aisha Jain.
We will now go with a short commercial break, and when we return, we hear about the UN delegation's assessment of Gambia's security sector reform and what the Education Minister has to say about concerns raised with her while accompanying the President on tour. Stay tuned and join us after the break for these and more stories.
Looking for internet for your free videos, pictures, chats, work, and school projects? Think free night browsing. QCell's free night browsing lets you browse the internet for free. Oh yeah. Get a data SIM, recharge a minimum of $500 and enjoy free browsing after 24 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. every night for 30 days. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us. This is QTV News. A UN delegation in the Gambia is to assess the state of security sector reform. On Wednesday, the delegation held talks with President Adama Barrow in Janjanbureh. Aliou Cisse again.
The delegation is in the country at the invitation of the President and the Gambia government, and the meeting with the President took place at Janjanbureh. It was meant to give him an initial account of their findings. Adedeji Ibo is the chief of the UN Security Reform Unit Office of Rule of Law.
These preliminary findings around issues of coordination of international support, around issues of ownership of the process, and how we can help to sharpen the UN agenda for supporting the Gambian security sector reform process. So hopefully by the end of our mission, we'll be able to propose how the UN can support or better support the reform of security institutions. So basically these are issues that have to do with proposals to the government on coordination of international support so that we provide a coherent international support, not everybody doing what they think Gambia should be doing, but based on Gambian national ownership. So these are the recommendations around national ownership. But at the end of the day, the whole entire visit this morning was to knock on the president's door. We are in his home, and therefore when you visit someone, you must knock on their door. So we have knocked on the door. The president has been very warm in receiving us. And we have whispered in his ears our initial observations around issues of coordination, national ownership, and sustaining UN support here under the guidance of the resident coordinator, who is the representative of the UN system in the country.
According to him, the president was very welcoming while giving assurances of the UN support to realize a successful security sector reform. The delegation was led by Modu Baji, security advisor to the president, and also included the UN resident coordinator Serafin Wakana. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has launched the Regional Economic Outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa under the theme Navigating Uncertainties. The report focuses on challenges confronting policymakers and providing policy recommendations. Here is more on the report. Growth is forecast to be slower than previously envisaged for about 2/3 of the countries in sub-Saharan Africa. The downward revision reflects a more challenging external environment, continued output disruptions in oil exporting countries, and a weaker than anticipated growth in South Africa. While there is a significant progress for some countries, others are facing challenges of fiscal consolidation, natural disasters, the US-China trade war, and heightened security challenges in sub-Saharan African countries caused a significant downturn in many economies.
The Gambia, which is represented by the green line, we see since 1990, GDP per capita growth in the Gambia have been almost flat. And the level we have now in 2019 is even lower than what we have in the 1990. The reason for that, as I try to see what may explain that, you see the growth in GDP per capita is almost mirroring the performance in the groundnut sector, which is the main crop in the country that have been in the past very important in bringing foreign exchange for the country, but also reducing rural poverty. But since the nationalization of the groundnut company and the occurrence of aflatoxin, we see a sector that is almost dying down.
Growth in sub-Saharan Africa is projected to remain at 3.2% in 2019 and rise to 3.6% in 2020. The expected recovery, however, is at a slower pace than previously envisaged for about 2/3 of the countries in the region, partly due to challenging external environment. Based on the database of domestic arrears in sub-Saharan African countries, the report finds that domestic arrears have been pervasive in many countries, reflecting weak public financial management. Furthermore, arrears have increased in recent years to about 3.3% GDP in 2018, following the 2014 commodity price shock.
Very detrimental macroeconomic effects. First, it affects growth, but beyond that, it also affects the social, the physical, and the financial sectors.
Maud Seka, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, who deputized for the Minister of Finance, described the publication of the report as very helpful for economic policy assessment.
The RIO does not only give us wider perspective of the situation of our individual economies, but also gives us regional and sub-regional dimensions to our economic challenges, and hence offer us the opportunity to make comparison with our peers. I must state that the current RIO report could not have come at a better time.
For a heavily indebted country like the Gambia, only a strong financial policy can enhance economic growth that will be felt by the citizens. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Claudiana Cole, said her ministry recognizes the right of every child to accessible and quality education. This was in response to education-related concerns raised by the people as the President continues his tour. Aliou Cisse reports.
In an interview with QTV on the sidelines of the tour, Claudiana Cole, the Minister for Basic and Secondary Education, said the few concerns raised by the people will help her come up with informed decisions to improve teaching and learning in the country.
Coming out like this and listening to the concerns of the people is very helpful to us. Helpful in the sense that it informs us and tells us what the issues are. Because it's not always that we, even when we go on trek and we go to the schools, we find parents. Most of the time it's only the school head, the teachers and the students that we see. But the parents are stakeholders and they are our partners. And in education these days, we ask for community partnership. We go back and see what strategies we could put in place to address them. I'm here with a team, and my team members are taking notes.
She said a lot of progress has been registered in this sector, including rehabilitation of all classrooms and construction of over 200 teachers' quarters. She also reveals that the MRC Holland Foundation has promised to build 500 classrooms every year.
But again, Mr. Cisse, you will agree with me that this tour, this time around, there are not very many concerns raised about education because we have made so much inroads. We have attained so much. And I think the communities are grateful, they are satisfied. But nonetheless, you know, we cannot rest on our oars. So the little gaps here and there, it is good for them to bring them to our attention.
However, there exist some challenges such as inadequate classrooms and furniture in some schools.
Right now, quite honestly, I think the only challenge that we have is space, facilities, because the enrollment has increased. It's not that we never thought of putting enough classrooms in our schools. But up to now, we thought we had enough classrooms for the number of children who were there, or who were there. But because we are talking about no child left behind, every child should be in school. Every child that is in this Gambia should be in school. Every child of school-going age should be in school, because education is a right. And we know that an educated citizenry is what would move the development of the country.
Minister Cole also welcomes the construction of an education training college in Basse, which will address the problem of posting teachers to rural Gambia.
People in the rural areas, many of them used to find it very difficult to go to college all the way in Brikama for training. So now with the college in Basse, they will be, like the president said, they will be able to be schooled in their communities, in the rural areas, and go to college in the rural areas, and then teach in the rural areas. Because up to now, we used to have problems with teachers for postings. You want to take somebody from Kombo, bring the person up to all the way to Diabugu, Nyamana, Bolibana, and those sort of places for the first time in their lives. They cannot come, and postings of teachers has been a problem.
She told QTV that there will be a senior management meeting after the tour to discuss the concerns raised with a view of addressing them. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, let's have a quick look at our main news stories. As the president's nationwide tour nears to a close, we heard about the welcome planned by some of his supporters when he returns to the capital. The WHO plans to host a series of media briefings on health. We attended and reported on the most recent one. Nifty ICT Solutions, an information communication technology company providing ICT solutions for business development, recently organized an event on technological innovation for modern business. We heard what went on at the event. A survey to help design policies and strategies for increased financial inclusion was launched this week. It is hoped to address the low level of financial inclusion for Gambian women, youth, and especially those in rural areas. That's all we have for you in this news edition. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night. Bye for now.